Hello, how are you guys? It's so good to be back with you again. This is Dame Dr. Nicole Smith Jackson, and we're going to be talking today about how you can become unshakable. This is our Power Moves book club, and my name again is Dame Dr. Nicole Smith Jackson, and I am the podcast host of Power Start Your Day, as well as the founder of the Pink Millionaire Club. And so, what I want to share with you on today is something that is so powerful. We know that we are in very uncertain times. We know that people are like, we're smack dab in what we're going to be considering a financial winter. And people are like, what does that mean? And we just know the effects of it, right? We just know how it feels right now. And so we are awesomely talking about Unshakable. This is our book. If you haven't gotten it already, we'd love for you to go ahead and get it. And if you're not a part of our Power Moves group, where we're sharing all of these tips, I decided to share it with you guys on today. Go ahead and join our Power Moves with Pink Millionaire group. A lot of goodies there. I am just letting you know that my goal today is just to inform you about some things that I found out that I did not know. Now, my background is I was an overworked hairstylist just over a decade ago, about 12 plus years ago, by the way. And meaning that I learned about some of the things I'm going to share with you because of pain. So now we're in a situation or a challenge of people going through a lot of pain. And we know that we are just prayerfully sending light, love, and prayers to families who are going through right now. But we know that there's also some uncertainty when it comes to finances. And I want you to understand something, that there is going to be light at the end of the tunnel. It always has been and always will be. And if you are a believer, then you know that when it's over, it's over. But until it is over, we must work and we must make things happen and be good stewards over what God has given us, the resources, our time, talent, and treasure. So like I shared, is that we're talking about Unshakable. And this book clearly says it's by Tony Robbins and also Peter Mallouk, who is the founder of Creative Planning. Now, I don't get paid for the book and I don't get paid for this, but I just so happened to be, I was a client of Tony Robbins in this platinum partnership, but I am also currently a client of Mr. Peter Mallouk. And, because of a particular industry that I have been working in, that's a work from home industry, I have moved from being that overworked hairstylist to actually having a private banker and also having a family office. Now, I'm going to tell you something. You're like, what is a private banker and what is a family office? That just means someone who didn't know everything, who got started where she was and began to seek knowledge and now has committed her life to sharing it with other people. Now, this book is definitely going to help you create a peace of mind in a world of volatility. Wouldn't you agree that right now, as you're listening to this, it seems like we're very much in a world of volatility? And so I want to talk to you right now. If we were to imagine that we were to do the best with what we have now so that it can be greater later. If that interests you, I want you to go with me if you haven't. And I want you to, of course, go back if you haven't read chapter 1 of this book. There's some people who are following along who have already done it. But we're talking about chapter 2. And I want you to know something. There are 2 considered markets when we start talking about even, putting your money somewhere. We know that typically if you work a job, it's typical that you're going to put money in the bank. And what people don't realize, that a bank is pretty much still like a money store. And so they have products that they sell, and some of them are very common to us, like accounts. You have bank accounts, you have checking accounts, and then now you might go and up level and maybe get money market accounts. You may even decide to get loans. All of these are products that the bank sell. And you say, well, what do you mean they sell it? I need that account. I'm putting my money there because it's safe. But there is a thing that come along with several types of accounts, and it's called fees. Well, the reason why I'm starting at this place is because I want to start where I was and where most people are, in understanding that, you know what, sometimes we're being overcharged for certain things and not having a clue of how to change that. Well, it's the same thing with fees. The same thing with taxes. I actually did a video with Miss Courtney Epps on taxes. You can check it out on my Facebook business page. But I want us to start off what we're talking about here with fees, because before we can go into what type of market, explaining, I'm going to do a little review of what type of market versus a bear and bull market, which we're in a bear market. It's hard. It's okay. It will come back. And I also want to talk about how many of us are in bear markets all the time. If you don't know what you're doing with your money, that you're in a situation where it may seem like you're losing, you're working hard and you're not winning. And so if that sounds like you or someone you know, it might be great to like, tag, and share this and have some other people hop on. So as we're talking about fees, I want you to go and I need you to look at, some people are doing mobile banking, right? You have access to everything about your bank on your phone. And I want you to think about, what do you have right now? If you have a checking account, is it free? Well, nothing is free. This is the thing. Free is never free. I want you to remember that free costs somebody something. If you remember that, then you won't all the time want free. You might want to go on the other side of free, being a giver. And so what I need you to think about here is to say, if you are one fortunate enough to have a free checking account, then there might be a minimum balance required. Why do you think that is? There might be, if it's not a minimum balance required, that maybe if you do something with that account, like maybe write a check without enough funds, then you get a insufficient funds fee. Okay, just so you understand. And so now here it is. Why? Because when your money is in the bank is using that to go and loan money out. The loans that you pay, that's another product, and it comes with what? Fees and interest. So interest is the cost for you to borrow that money. And so the reason why I'm going down this, because this is going to help you connect the dots to what I'm going to be talking about, just in case you may or may not have money in the market. And how you have that money in the market, this is going to be big, especially for those who want to start investing and taking advantage and turning this huge obstacle into opportunities. So we get back to now the bank and the fees. And now you say, okay, well, now I'm going to get a loan. That's another product. And the cost for the loan is interest. And so how do they decide how much interest are they going to charge you? Well, they may charge you interest based off of your credit score, your income, sometimes relationship with that bank, but sometimes you could have your money in the bank for a long time, right? And go and get a loan or apply for a loan and they still deny you or still charge you high fees. So when we start now transferring this over into the marketplace of where we are, you always want to be looking at how much are you being charged. Now, I don't know about you. There's certain places that I shop and I don't typically just look at the price tag. I just buy it because I want it. Now, is that a good practice? I'm not sure it is. Some people never look at the total until after they've purchased and look at their receipt. Have you ever done that? Have you ever walked through Walmart, Target, if you have the grocery store right now, Kroger, Publix, and walk into those stores and you're saying, I don't care what it is I need, I'm just going to buy it, and then whatever the cost is, because you have the money, you're like, I'm not worried about how much it costs. Do you know that that is the exact same way that we're handling our money, our hard-earned money, including the money we put in the bank. So now that you understand and you start thinking about interest, and you start thinking right now, if you have a loan right now, I want you to, number one, I told you, check out and say, okay, my checking account, what are the fees? Is it free? No, nothing's free. If you mess up, it's going to cost you more than if you were to just say, I just pay you to hold this money for me. Think about it. You're paying the bank to hold the money, and then they turn around and use that money and loan it out and charge a fee called interest. And sometimes you go and apply to get your own money. And then they run you through the ringer. It's okay. We're not on that kind of rant today. I need you to understand how this thing really works. So now when we start talking about fees and we start thinking about the money we work hard for, you might go from the bank and then you might go into a money market, and now they're saying, instead of us charging you interest as a loan, we're going to pay you interest to hold your money. Or you might do like a CD. We're going to pay you interest to hold your money. But we need to hold your money for a certain amount of time, or it need to be a certain amount of balance, and we'll pay you this amount of interest toward you. Now, I need you to look at whatever money, wherever you have money, because you're either doing three things with money. You're either generating it, protecting it, generating it, or growing it. Now, most people, if you say those three things, they're not doing any of those very well, meaning protecting it, generating it, or growing it. So if you are challenging those areas, I want you to take a little bit of note. Now, we hop back on these fees and we're going to move quickly, because in chapter 2 of Unshakable, Tony Robbins and Peter Mallouk begin to give. They are doing some huge philanthropy for those who would open up a book and open their eyes and their ears and their mind and read. They're trying to tell us something here. Something big that applies to anybody who literally want to participate in their own success. And so when they start talking about fees and they say that most people do not invest in the marketplace, we're talking about where all of the companies that we support, because I started off with the stores. I said Walmart, I said Publix or Kroger or whatever stores you shop in, Best Buy, all those people, they are in the marketplace where you now as a consumer get to switch hats and become an investor. Now, let's say you decide that you do want to become an investor. I was an investor. I was a real estate investor from the age of 19. I'm 46 now. Very proud. You know, there's some women that be like, oh, no, I don't want nobody to know my age. I don't care. God, my husband, my mama, they know the age. So don't make no sense for me to try to fake my age anywhere else. They know the truth. So at the end of the day, from 19 to age 46, I did what most people did, become a real estate investor. That's a whole nother class we'll talk about. I have some good friends. We'll talk about real estate investment. But right now we're talking about putting your money in the marketplace. It's time for you to move from consumption only, running through stores with big tabs, and now looking at that bank account that might go in the NSF. And then you don't take the money that we do have and put it in the market and say, I shop with you. I need a peace of mind. Peace of mind. How would that look for you? It's time for you to start thinking about protecting the money, making some money, and growing that money. Protect, generate, and grow. So now when we start saying that, the interest right now that we should be now looking at in this times that things are uncertain, There is a place. One beautiful thing about being in America or being an American is that you can play, but you got to pay to play. Now, some of us have what we're saying. I have interest. I have a retirement plan. I got a 401k. Over 90 plus million Americans have a 401k, and they have no clue of how that actually works. So much so that they're paying so much in fees that the brokerage houses are getting more of your retirement fund than you do. We got people that have mutual funds. Same situation. Now, am I having a problem with how they running their business? No. I'm not here pointing a finger. What I'm here doing is informing and saying that being an American is giving you a choice as to where you want to shop. Who do you want to hold your money? Now, there are two options when you want to decide you want to go into the marketplace. You could, three actually. You could DIY. You can do it yourself. You can hire a broker. This is person who sell products to, because I went from the bankers. They sell products to. And then you can have a fiduciary who don't sell products, but they're obligated to tell you the truth. Now, you could do DIY, and most people try to say, I'm going to learn and do this myself, so I ain't got to pay no fees. But if it were me, I'm just talking about me. If I did it myself, I might as well count myself a fool. A fool and his money will soon depart. Because I have a business and I have a family. So I might as well hire an expert to look over the money. But I don't need you to take more of my money than I get of my money, because I work for my money. Anybody out there agree? Okay. So you could do it yourself. You could do Home Depot this deal. Hot mess. Or, now I'm not saying that there's nobody that knows how to hit the market now. I'm just saying that most Americans don't. So I'm talking to those people. You don't have to take the set advice. But then now you have the brokerage houses that they sell products, and they gonna get paid whether you win or you lose. What you say, Willis? Yes, baby. Because their fees are paid kind of different. You say, well, I looked at it and I'm getting paid. My fees is 3%. My fee is 4%. But what you don't understand is that fees sometimes are paid to the brokerage houses, not only based off of what they say they're going to charge you. There are a lot of hidden fees in there. Sometimes it's fees paid or commissions paid based off of what product they sold you. Sometimes it's commission-based fees just because of the movement, how make things move. Do we know all those things? No, they're not even required by law to tell us. So now we have this thing where a person might put their money in certain things in the hands of certain people. You choose now, because it's one thing if you choose being uninformed, and there's another thing you choosing and you are informed. And so now you know. I love this book, Unshakable, because they even have a checklist in here where you can say these are questions you ask who's going to manage your money, including yourself if you want to DIY, and ask these questions that will help you decide, should you have yourself, a broker, or a fiduciary. The fiduciary don't sell product. They got to look out for you by law, like tell you what's what. You can give them certain parameters. And that's what Mr. Peter Maluk, their creative planning firm, is a fiduciary. And the reason why that's important, and I understand that because I've held several licenses as far as from real estate insurance, so I understand the fiduciary, you got to do the right thing. I believe that any business person should do the right thing for their client, not just for themselves. But at the end of the day, this is America. Don't hate, just participate in your own success. You don't have to be mad because they doing this, the big boys doing that and all this stuff. This is an opportunity for you to become the big girl or the big boy. Now, what I want you to know is that you might have a broker and they may say, okay, well, how much is it if you actually move my money around? 3%, 4%, I don't know. But what are the other fees? Well, in your prospectus, they have it in there, but who gonna read it? Some people don't even read. When you go buy a house, you're not reading all them papers. They put you 5 or 6 different copies and just keep saying signing. The same thing of what we've come to do, where we are now giving over our hard-earned money, and we're like, they send you the prospectus quarterly. You're not reading it. You're not reading when things have changed. You're not reading what maybe taxes you have to pay. Maybe if a mutual fund was sold and you going into the mutual fund upside down. There's a lot of reasons why we should be looking at fees. But what I want you to do right now is to identify and say, who should be helping me with my money? You, a broker, or fiduciary? From the information I gave you, you choose. Now we want to say, well, okay, now once they have this money, I want this thing, this cost of money called interest, I need to start working for me instead of against me. Well, in our country, credit is like a gauge, just like the thermometer as to how much interest you pay when you borrow somebody else's money. But the beautiful thing about the marketplace is you get to choose how much money you want coming toward you, or how much money you want to keep after your fees and your taxes or whatever other things. So when you start thinking about that, this is where most people are saying, I ain't watching that Bloomberg TV. I'm not watching that MSN Money TV. I'm not watching that stuff. And that might be a good idea, because the news will have you going cray-cray. But what is a better idea is for you to first identify and say, when the market is going down, I should have already been in and I need to go in. Because when you start thinking about the families, the wealthiest families in our country, the market is where many of them made their fortunes. Now, while many people are in fear, people like Warren Buffett, a lot of us, they're in hog heaven because they know that there are 2 markets, and you might want to call them seasons. There is the bull market. That's where money is going up. I'm going to keep this very simple. If you go on our prior broadcast, you got to be in the group. It will go over those things about the bear and bull market. I went a little bit deeper. But the bear market is where now the numbers are going down. I'm going to keep this simple for you. And you say, well, what makes us know when we're in a bear market? Now, I gave a few numbers for you, and it's encouraging, because the bear market is saying, look, when the bull market is when the market is at least 20% up, and the bear market is when it's at least 20-some% down. Now, guess what happens? When you start going into 30-some% down, you might say, well, if you didn't have your money in there the way the Unshakable talk about it, now you probably will be fretting. But if you follow what this book is telling you, and you can have real conversations with the people who are holding your money, whether it's you can have your conversation with you in your prayer closet, you can have your conversation with you and your broker, and you can have a conversation with you and your fiduciary. Again, you're going to choose. And now where it is now a bear market is where most people couldn't afford to play. Now they can afford to play. Now, don't be going off the hype and just be happening. I'm about to buy gold. I'm about to buy silver. I'm about to buy, go into Forex. I'm about to buy crypto. Half of the people don't even know what they're talking about. And then the ones who do know what they're talking about half of the people listening don't know what they're talking about. I'm just real as they come. And so what I encourage you to do is, because if you have a fiduciary, they can help you figure it out. If you have a broker, they can help you figure it out. If it's you, yourself, and I don't know. So when you start thinking about now you want interest to start working for you versus against you, you want to start looking at opportunities where you can start calculating approximately when your money will double. Well, how will you do that? I want you to write down this word, rule of 72. Rule of 72. Now, if your money is not anywhere where the rule of 72 apply, then you are not growing money. And that's what you want to do. So the rule of 72 is just a simple calculation to say, if you got your money and now you get an idea of how much interest you're going to earn on your money. Because see, the banks know. The banks will say, I'm going to loan you this money at this particular interest rate. So we're talking about the rate at which your money is going to compound. You get the interest rate and you divide it into 72. So if you took the number 8 into 72, what is that? Your money will double every 9 years? I don't know. You use the calculator and tell me. Let's do it together. I have the math here, but I want you to be used to picking up your calculator and understand 72 divided by 8, 9 years. So that means that if you put $100 somewhere, it's going to take you 9 years for you to make it $200. But what if that was $1,000? That'd be $2,000. What if it was $3,000? That's going to be $6,000. What if it's $10,000? That's going to be $20,000 every 9 years. Well, then how will you shorten the years? You shorten the years by increasing the interest rate. And so when you start thinking about rule of 72, you got to say, is my money anywhere with the rule of 72? So now when we start thinking about that, and you start saying, well, why in the world will I go in the marketplace where everybody losing money? Because that's the time where you can afford to. And what you want to know is that people are always going up and down and losing money. And in a short-term range, if you got to put money in the market and you haven't operated yourself from a budget, or maybe you want to start now, we could talk about that later. Then you might say, well, I don't have any money, but I want to encourage you to go and generate some money so we can put in this market. So now, when we start looking at the fees and we say, if it's a broker, well, what's the fees? Will you really ever know? With me sharing with you the rule of 72, if somebody said, okay, I gave them $1,000 and in 9 years, I'm going to get $2,000 minus the fees and taxes. But if the taxes and fees combine to 20%, you do the math of how much money you paid to somebody, not even knowing you were paying those fees. See, with the fiduciary, they just like me. They need to just be upfront. I just tell me the real deal. How much is this going to cost? That's all I need to know. So what I need you to think about right now is, number one, do I have any money where the rule of 72 is going to be working for me? And number two, who has my cheese? Okay. So now when we start thinking about that and you say, well, what is reasonable for fees? Fiduciaries is going to give you some flat fees. And they're going to tell you, this is what you pay me annually for whatever I'm doing for you. 0.85, 1 point, maybe up to 2.5, depending on how much money you got. But if you don't have a lot of money, why am I going to pay you 2.25? Anything, I learned this from one of my very powerful mentors, that anything that involves numbers can move, meaning it's negotiable. So you ask, is that the best you could do? Is that best you could do? Remember that applies to anything. What I just told you, that one was free. I mean, you're here free, aren't you? But it's going to cost you a bunch if you don't do anything with this information. See, sometimes it's not the upfront cost, it'd be the back end cost. So what I want you to know is that first you want to say, do I have any money with Rule 72? What's my fees? I don't care if it's your CD, your money market, your whatever. And now I want to go put some money with the big boys. And so now your bank might have a product for you and they're going to tell you, I'm going to have somebody call you. Now, Peter Maluk office at one point, when they call like a family office, this is people that handle where your money go in the marketplace, your succession planning, like wills, trust, power of attorneys, your tax planning, all of this, a family office. I didn't always have a family office. And typically the family office, you had to have like at least, $1 million, what have you. Then they start opening up. It was Tony Robbins who asked them, would they open up some services like this to people who might have at least $100,000? And you say, what you say? Pink Millie, stop playing with me. $100,000? I don't have $100,000 to put in nobody's bank. I don't have $100,000 to put in no marketplace. This is why I'm sharing that people need to generate some income. Work from home is a big buzz right now. But work from home, that's the new norm, or work in opportunities from home where you can actually earn income and you get to set or write your own check. I believe that if you are in a place right now, and I'm not telling you to take $100,000, that's not true. You could take a few $100, a few $1,000, and maybe start where you are. But there are some places that you can get some real advice to start where you are, and then it will increase your appetite and desire to want to earn some more income. Now, all of those things, if you need some help in, you can always, reach out. But this is what I want you to know. I'm going to go through some basic things and some freedom facts about the marketplace and why now is the time to buy. Number one, freedom fact number one, we're still here in Unshakable. I'm going to run through these here, is that it says on average, corrections have occurred about once a year since 1900. You say, what's correction? A correction is considered what they say a bear market, or words like recession. Are you telling me that the market go in a recession once a year? Yep, just nobody's reporting that. So now when it goes into the huge correction year, where it starts saying we went like the dot-com bubble or 9/11 or, things like that, then now you gotta, oh my mercy, here come my legacy coming in here. This is not gonna be good. My grandbaby just came in here and I pray my son come get him. Yeah, we working from home. The market will bounce back. It always has. Get him, baby. I love you. Oh, I love you. I'll see you guys in a minute. I'm almost done. So when you start thinking about the market, it always has come back. It's been leaving and coming back, and you ain't even know. So something like right now, like the .com, 9/11, or even now when I learned about home-based business from home, like home-based businesses that you write your own check, those kind of things, I learned about it in 2008. And right now is our 2008. This is where there's some people where business is going to be booming. Don't let nobody tell you nothing else. There are some things that are going up, 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 up. And if you don't move, you're going to go down, 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 down. And so what I need you to know is that the next freedom fact is that less than 20% of the corrections turn into a bear market. Well, we are in a bear market now. Nobody can predict consistently whether it's going to rise or fall. That's why watching the news ain't really the news. But they say you got to have a job though, right? So now when we start thinking about people who are in fear, I need you to know some good news. How many people want to hear some good news? The stock market rises over time despite the many short-term setbacks. So now, why I want to share this with you is that I believe it was either the Ford family or Kenny family, one of the two. I'm going to come back and get that because I was just reading and I had wrote a note of how they started off with maybe like a family asset amount about 3-4 million and put their money in the marketplace and went to 100 million. But it took them maybe like close to 20 years. What you need to know is that the market, the money in the market, and you have the right person putting the money in the right places. Over 10, 20 years, your bank account can do backflips. If you don't be scared and you do what money likes to do with your money, what money likes to be done with it. It likes to be moved and multiplied. And if your money is not being moved and multiplied, then your money is declining. Nothing stays the same forever. It's either going to go up or down, determined based off of what you're doing with it, especially money. So if all we put our money into is to looking good and the money ain't nowhere where it's going up, it's going to be some challenges and it's going to be some big costs to pay. For those who know me, they know I always come with the warnings and I always come with good news. So the good news is that it's going to go back up over time. And then you want to know that they say historically it happened every 3 to 5 years, but it has been like 12. It's been a long time now. People are like it's overdue. 8 years, 10 years, 2008. They like it's overdue. 12 years later, here we go. Why is anyone surprised? You never know what's going to trigger a bear market, but you know it has to come. But it's opportunity, it's not obstacles. It's not a brick wall, it's an open door. If you begin to change your mind, you're going to change your actions. And if you change your actions, you're going to change your outcome. Change your mind, change your actions, change your actions, change your outcome. So what I need you to think about for right now is number one, bear bull market. Go and get those. I need you to think number two, who got my cheese? Who has my money? Number three, is Rule of 72 working for me? And then number four, I need you to say, I'm ready to play. I want you to go get the book. Would you do that? Would you do that? I love you. I do. When you say how you love me, you don't even know me, girl. because I'm a daughter of the Most High God that know there is no way he's put me in places to know these kind of things just for myself. Me being born to immigrants who neither one of them went to college. And I dropped out of college. And I had 2 children going into 2 different prisons with them. Not what my family had in mind for me. They thought I was going to be an attorney. Then go and have these babies and bury 3 children by 23. And even with all of that, God not only showed me, but positioned me to grow immensely. First in him, then in my mind, and my money. Now, I know it would be a total just disrespect for me not to share for those who have the ears to hear. So I need you, if you're not in the group, this was a gift. I just followed the unction of the Holy Spirit. He said, go on and share it. And you say, what's she talking about? Money and God? I'm minding my business. You could do the same. If that bothers you, it's okay. It's okay. I just want you to know that you and your family have a chance to win and win big right now. So if you don't have any money to put in the marketplace, you need to generate some income. If you didn't protect your income, you say, how do I do that? What you mean? If the stimulus check and the unemployment is all you have, if your income was going to be interrupted, that's not protecting your income. That's a whole nother class. Whole nother class. And I know about it. But today's class, it said chapter 2 of Unshakable. This book club is going to bless some people's life. I don't even have to see you. I don't have to know you. Sure, there's things that God has compensated me well for. That's why I'm bringing you value. So if this helped somebody, I need you to say, this helped me. If this is your first time hearing, I need you to go ahead and let me know. I need you to go ahead and let me know if it helped somebody. If it helped you, go ahead and share it. If you can, you'll share. You done got all that value for free. Go on and share it with somebody and share with them and tell them, you know what? You can become free at last. OMG, are you serious right now? Are you serious right now? Mr. Tony Robbins on page 45, free at last. You gonna choose who got your cheese. Go choose. This time for us to be 100% real. You got protection on that income? You got your generation of income down pat? Then you need to be growing it. But we don't have a lot of time. So there are some options. You can reach out to me. If you're like, well, how can I grow some income? How can I generate some income fast? It depends on what you call fast. But at least you starting. The beginning is always awareness. My grandbaby, I got to feed him some chicken and rice. What y'all about to do? Working from home means you really need to be working. Work on your spirit and your mind, your body, and your money. Write that down. We're going to get in the book. You want to know how to get the book? We're going to drop the link. All right. God bless you. Go on and share this. We on to chapter 3. Will you join us? We're going to drop the link. All right. Take care.